Thank you. What a great audience. That is Fly Me to the Moon. My name's Tim, the Piano Man. Here's another Frank Sinatra tune. This one doesn't get played that often. It's called Pennies from Heaven. Here it is, folks. Thank you. What a wonderful audience. Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Let's see, what else should we do? How about this song? So Frank Sinatra also did this one. This one is a different style, though. This is a samba. Samba. Yes, that's. Can you samba? Well, that's a good question. I don't know. You certainly are allowed to, yes, but I wouldn't know how to samba, though. I can play samba on the piano, but that's about it. I don't know how to dance the samba. You're welcome to enjoy yourself, though. Here is Tangerine. Thank you very much. That's called the cha-cha-cha ending. Here's another song that I hope that you enjoy. Thank you very much. Yes, it was, I'm sure it was very, very good. Bake it into blueberry pie. Floyd Cramer, yes sir, that's a good one. I'll do it. Here's a Last Date by Floyd Cramer. Thank you very much.
Is it true that that song doesn't have any words?
Oh, that's a great question.
Whitey Twitty sings it.
The question was, is it true, does that song not have any words? And I suppose that both the answers yes and no are correct, because I believe originally when it was first released, there were no words to it, but somebody did put words to it and sang it. Now, what are those words? I'm not sure. I imagine they include the words last date, but you can hear both the original instrumental and also the version with the words. And I thought I heard you, ma'am, say that Conway Twitty sang it.
Yes.
So that would be somewhere I would start looking if I wanted to hear the version with the words. Of course, the original, which it was written by Floyd Kramer, is the instrumental. That's a great question. And here's an interesting fact about that song. Oftentimes, so the correct name of that song is Last Date. But oftentimes, folks, I'd say a lot of folks, maybe half of the folks that request that song, say, I'd like to hear Last Dance, which is a different title. It's not the correct one. But I still know what you're saying if that's the one that you say. You said the correct title. Last Date, Floyd Kramer. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another one that I hope that you enjoy. It's the Tennessee Waltz. Oh, wait, no. I got to play I'll Fly Away first, and then I'll play the Tennessee Waltz after that. Here's I'll Fly Away. You sound great. Here's another one. Here is the Tennessee Waltz. very much. Thank you.
Hey, Tim,
Yes, sir.
did you play The Entertainer?
The Entertainer by Scott Joplin. Yes, sir, I will play it. That's a great tune. Here it is. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now here's some more Scott Joplin. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything by Jerry Lee Lewis?
Jerry Lee Lewis. I'll play Great Balls of Fire. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ma'am?
You do the song Blue Moon.
The song Blue Moon. Yes, ma'am, I do the song Blue Moon. I'd be happy to do it for you right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. much. What a great audience. That was Blue Moon by special request. Now here's another song about the moon. This one is Moon River. Moon River. Thank you very much. Thank you. What a great audience. That is Moon River.
Amazing.
Crazy. I've been called worse.
That's what I heard.
You want to hear the song Crazy?
I like to hear the song Crazy, yes.
I'll be happy to play that for you, sir. Yes. Did you know that Willie Nelson wrote that song?
Yes, I do.
Isn't that an interesting fact? Not a lot of people know that. Willie Nelson wrote it. Patsy Cline sure did it. Great request. Some of my favorite requests are the ones that I know how to play. That is Crazy. That's a Patsy Cline tune written by Willie Nelson. Remember, if you have a request, just let me know. If I know it, I will play it. And if I don't know it, I'll play something else. You know, I used to say if I don't know it, I'll play it anyways. But then I realized that, what's the expression? That my hand was right, my mouth was writing a check that my hand couldn't cash, or something like that. Something like that. Speaking of cash, how about some Johnny Cash? Here's Folsom Prison Blues. Thank you very much. Now for my last song for the day, here's I Walk the Line, Johnny Cash. Thank you. What a great audience. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for me for today. My name is Tim, the Piano Man. I have enjoyed entertaining y'all immensely, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What a great audience. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
All right, guys, tomorrow we are going to Walmart if the weather permits. If not, then we're staying here. But does anybody want to go to Walmart?
I have to go too.
It always rains, but I want to go.
I want to, but I can't.
I want to too. But I can't. Well, I can't make it, but I want to.
I took lessons in primary and never got out to be primary, but they used to teach me and say, oh, you can't play football.
really?
You got to play the piano, yeah.
Not currently, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Oh, it's a lot of fun. I'm glad. Thank you, man. Bye. Thank you. Thank you for your requests, sir. They were really good. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. That was a lot of fun. All right. So, apologies about that. That was pocket time again. That's just what's been going on. I started documenting my gigs. I'm a piano player from Memphis, Tennessee. And you know what? I play over 600 shows a month. I know that sounds crazy. 600 shows a month. That's like 2.3 shows a day. But I do it because I can do it because these shows are just an hour long. These shows are just an hour long. Easy Piano Gigs is the name of my book on Amazon, Easy Piano Gigs, and I teach people how to do this. But if you're just tuning in for the music, that's okay too. You know, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your requests. I do have plenty of music on my YouTube channel. 4,000 amazing, talented, attractive subscribers. Super grateful for y'all. Super grateful for my subscribers. That was my first gig of the day. I only have 2 gigs today. I had 4 yesterday. I was supposed to have 5, but one of them canceled. I had 4 yesterday in Nashville, and now I'm in Arkansas. I think it's gonna rain pretty heavily. It looks like the sky is pregnant. So what I do is I play piano at retirement communities, and the reason that the phone goes in the pocket after the show, even though I know it's not great camera skills, is because I must protect the identity of the people that I play for. I don't want their faces to be shown because it's a private residence. I love what I do, however. So that's why I document it. I'm on my way to another show. Let's see. But I can do shout outs now. Kara Mabry says, beautiful music. Can you please play I'll Fly Away? Kara, I hope that you heard that because the 3 criteria for requests took place in that show. Number 1, I have to see it. That took place. I saw it. Number 2, I have to know it. And I know I'll Fly Away. Number 3, it has to be appropriate for the residents at the retirement community that I'm playing at, or the gig that I'm playing at. And that was the case as well, so I played it. A friend of mine with Chinese characters in their name says, will you play The Entertainer? You play that one really well. Oh, a returning subscriber, thank you very much. This was crazy. Somebody at my show raised their hand and requested that I play The Entertainer. And then I looked down, I saw I had a new comment when I was playing. And you know what it was? It was that comment. It said, will you play The Entertainer? So I got 2 comments asking for The Entertainer at the same time, ostensibly from across the entire world. So if you're located in China, it might be Japan. I can't tell the characters apart sometimes. And that's on me, y'all. That's on me. I don't know the difference between the 2 languages. I cannot get over how insanely bright those lights are on that car. Wow, that is like blindingly bright. But anyways, I played it. I played The Entertainer because I got 2 requests for it. So I got the request, and then also that did fit all 3 criteria. Number 1, I saw it in the request. Number 1, I saw it in the request. Number 2, that guy's got his brights on. That's way too bright. Number 2, I know how to play it. Number 3, it was appropriate for that gig. Not only was it appropriate, but I got a request for that exact same song from a gentleman at that gig, which is really cool. Oh, I'm yawning. I'm gonna get some coffee at the next gig before I play. Okay, so that was pretty cool. And then the same person that requested The Entertainer got it, and they say, woohoo! I imagine that's, what Mario character says wahoo? I can't remember. I'm a fan of Mario. I like Mario Kart, I like the RPGs. I haven't played all the RPGs, but I do like them. Paper Mario is my favorite by far. And I kind of like the original more than the Thousand Year Door, even though the Thousand Year Door is like the natural expansion. And it is objectively a better game. But something about renting, this is my memory, it's nostalgic for me. Renting Paper Mario from Blockbuster Video, completing it in a week. It was just the most immersive, well thought out, whimsical, intelligent, fun, charming game that I ever played in my life. And that's why I like it better. It's because it has a great memory. And that memory is a really good memory. And then years later I played Thousand Year Door. Rihan says play Despacito. You know, I think I could probably learn that one, but I haven't learned it yet. I don't get a ton of requests for Despacito. Lo siento. Hi, Rehan. Abigail says, oh my goodness, you play so well. Thank you, Abigail. I am blushing. Thank you. Pondif says, nice play. Thank you, Pondif. Where are you from? Eitan Matthew Talampa says, hi, mate. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Eitan. Thank you, Eitan. I really think that it might start raining very heavily very soon. I kind of want to get inside, but first I'm going to read the rest of these requests. Retro says, hello, Tim. Hello, Retro. 3 Pro 6 Aught says, hello there. A very nice sound. Thank you. Kara Mabry says, I walked a line by Johnny Cash. I played that one. Clenom says, hi. Z1 Games 12 says, hi. Hurricane. Thanks for joining. Hi, man. I love your streams. You're so underrated. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think it's probably good to be underrated. Maybe better than it being overrated. But there is a middle ground, and that is properly rated. That's how I'd like to be rated. So that just means that I have some work to do with my packaging and my marketing and all that stuff. Thank you for returning. Thanks to everybody for subscribing. This is basically it. This is what my YouTube videos are. It's me playing the piano and then hopping in the car and chatting and doing shout outs and answering all your questions about life, the universe, and everything. Even if a lot of the times the answer to that question is I don't know. You gotta have some mystery. You gotta have some mystery. You have to appreciate the mystery, embrace the mystery. The mystery of life. Choose life, everybody. You have so much going for you. You have so much potential. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new day. Life is beautiful. And if you don't like it, do something about it. Do something about it. Even if it's creating your escape plan in your mind, let that fantasy be your escape and then turn that fantasy into reality if you're going through a tough time. Okay, that's my message for today. Thanks, everybody, for subscribing, tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.